Greetings. This one is going to be a little informal, but I wanted to pose a point of discussion to the community and gauge some feedback. So please excuse the editing if it's a little lackluster compared to the usual dissection videos. I suppose it's best to start at the beginning. While perusing my friend's Death Guard Codex, I stumbled upon the Death Guard Possessed datasheet, and I noticed a few improvements I thought were quite good. Improving the attacks characteristic from D3 to 4 adds the kind of certainty one wants from an elite unit. And improving the toughness characteristic from 4 to 5 to the Death Guard standard makes good sense to me, since these are, in effect, possessed Plague Marines. But what I found odd is keeping the Death Guard Possessed movement characteristic at 7 inches. For clarity's sake, I think it's best to take a look at what possession is providing to the standard Chaos Space Marine. The standard Chaos Space Marine has a profile of movement 6 inches, weapon and ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, and 1 wound.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Since I don't want to digress, let's just say a standard Chaos Space Marine has 2 wounds, 2 attacks, and leadership 7 with a 3+ save. Looking at the before and after, we can gather that becoming a possessed gives a Marine +1 move, +1 strength, an increased number of attacks, a fixed fairly decent melee weapon, and an invulnerable save. Overall, pretty substantial improvements at the loss of ranged weaponry. But when we do the same comparison with a Death Guard Plague Marine, for some reason the Death Guard Possessed maintained the same movement characteristic of 7, equal to that of the standard Possessed. Why does a Plague Marine gain 2 movement from possession when a standard Marine only gains 1? Stranger still, why is their toughness being elevated to be brought in line with the Death Guard standard, but not their movement? I find this leaves Death Guard Possessed in a sort of awkward place. Should Death Guard Possessed have a movement characteristic of 6 inches instead of 7, 1 inch less since the Nurgle boys are consistently portrayed as being slower across the board? Or maybe this is a clue, that the standard Possessed will have their movement characteristic increased to 8 inches. Of these two options, which do you find to be more preferable? But this thought experiment got me thinking. Death Guard Possessed being tougher than the standard Possessed, with disgustingly resilient, with its horrifying mutations becoming a plague weapon, while also being just as fast, feels off. I mean, it's not like Plague Marines are being possessed by super swift Slaanesh demons. In fact, when you think about it, the logic follows that a Marine's Mark of Chaos would very likely restrict whichever type of demonic entities would be compatible with regards to possession. And since each Chaos God and their demonic extensions have inherent attributes associated with them, there seems to be some potential for thematic mechanics to be explored here. Now I know everyone isn't for Marks of Chaos providing substantial benefits across the board, but if any unit is going to be augmented by their Marks of Chaos, it would most assuredly be possessed, right? Simply, a Chaos Space Marine has the Mark of Khorne. He becomes possessed by a Demon of Khorne, and now evokes more of Khorne's qualities since he is now part Khorne Demon. So I'm curious, would you like to see Possessed having rules which see them modified by their assigned Mark of Chaos? Speaking for myself, I definitely would. I really like the characterization gained if Possessed were to have their horrifying mutations flavored by the demonic entities of that mark, a precedent already set by the current iteration of the Death Guard's Possessed. And it effectively provides the unit a war gear option, but does so through their assigned mark, thus providing those Marks of Chaos substantial significance, at least for Possessed. And for those actually interested to play with such rules, I've finally gotten around to giving an update to my What the Fack Chaos Space Marines House Rules Pack. In addition to this Possessed datasheet, I've also integrated community-tempered adjustments and datasheet splits for Hellbrutes and Chaos Dreadnoughts. You can find a link to download the updated What the Fack for Chaos Space Marines in the description of this video. Well, that's a wrap on this Quick Thoughts. Thanks for watching. And a special thanks to my patrons, Julius Maximus, as well as the others who help keep the dream alive. Personally, I find Possessed to be a unit ripe for creativity and mechanical storytelling, but I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on them in the comments below. Do you think they are just fine as is, or do they leave you wanting more? As for what's coming up next, I'm in the midst of my next dissection, this one focusing on a particular faction and its rule set. It's honestly one I didn't see coming, and as I keep going deeper into the mechanics, it's only becoming more and more bizarre. So, if you enjoyed this video, there's a like button, and if you want to help my channel grow, there is a subscribe button. There's also a bell button and a share button, so press the buttons you want to press. And with that, I hope to see you guys in the next one.